Okay, assalamu alaikum. Mr. Islam answers back once again. Got to answer back. You still don't know what you're talking about. You're not getting that, like Bart Ehrman told you in that video that you posted. Those are the dates that they teach. However, when it comes to the actual proof, they don't have proof of that. The manuscripts are, as I showed you, dated to hundreds of years after 100 or second century or more after these people. Even in the video, he told you that they weren't by eyewitnesses. It says it. He admitted they're not written by eyewitnesses. He said it. He told you right in the video that you posted that they're not written by the eyewitnesses, which is what you were claiming. You claimed that they were written by people who saw Jesus, etc. He told you in the very video that you shared that those things are written by people who were not eyewitnesses. He said they're not contemporary, right? So you completely refuted yourself by posting that video. But let's go further and let me show you that Bart Ehrman agrees with what I said, that your manuscripts are not from those persons actually, okay? So here's his website. Everybody can see it, right? How useful are our earliest manuscripts? Let's go down to this paragraph right here. And what does Mr. Ehrman say? He says, it's a little hard to get one's mind around the irony of our early manuscripts. The term means handwritten copies, i.e. all the copies before the invention of printing. To reconstruct the original text of the New Testament, by which, for my purposes here, I mean the text that the author himself produced and put into the public sphere by publishing or sending it. We would love to have lots of early manuscripts to look at. Unfortunately, we don't have lots of early manuscripts. 94% of our manuscripts are 800 years after the fact, sir. Pay attention. This is Bart Ehrman talking, the one who you're misrepresenting. 94% of our manuscripts are 800 years, 94%, 800 years after the fact. Okay, 800 years after the fact. We have only a handful of manuscripts, at best, that can plausibly be dated to the second century. Okay, so as you see, he's not telling you you got anything from 50 AD. Again, he told you in that video that that's what they teach. They teach that Paul wrote in 50 AD and Mark in 60, etc. But when it comes to the actual manuscript proof, as you see here, what he's talking about, meaning the text that the author himself produced, you don't have that. Your 94% of your manuscripts are 800 years after the fact. He says at best that can plausibly, you can say, you have dated to the second century. Okay, so as I showed you, all the scholars agree about Paul's earliest letter manuscripts, 200 years, which means Paul couldn't have written it. He didn't live for that long. He didn't live 200 years. And yet the earliest proof of Paul's letters is 200 CE. Okay, so as Bart tells you right here, we have only a handful of manuscripts at best that can plausibly be dated to the second century. These are all highly fragmentary. The oldest is just a scrap with a few verses on it. And even these are decades after look at it, after the authors were all dead and buried. So that means that they didn't write them. That's why he told you in that video, if you were listening, he said they were not written by eyewitnesses. They were not written by eyewitnesses. So the video you posted, in which you thought was some kind of refutation, actually proved my point and refuted you and fell right back on you and crushed you again. Okay, so as you see here, this is what you have. You have no actual written documents from the apostles, from Paul, from eyewitnesses or whatever. They teach that they were written at those times. But again, do they have the proof? No, they don't. No, they don't. Okay, 94% of your manuscripts are 800 years after the fact. And at best, a handful are plausibly dated to the second century, sir. Okay? Notice if they were something early, he would have told you. So you're clearly not understanding what he was saying in that video, and you refuted yourself. You're done, sir. You're done. And here, let's add on. Look at this. Here, Bart Ehrman mentions the earliest fragment or piece of Paul's letter, like I showed you in the other one, which is P46. I'm going to show you. Said this was refuted. Nope, I told you. Bart Ehrman agrees. He agrees. Look what he says here. Look what he says here. He says, and the bad, sad thing is we do not have a copy of First Thessalonians from the year 90 or 100 or 120 or 160. So you damn sure don't got one from the year 50, sir. You don't know what you're talking about, man. This is Bart Ehrman. As you can see, there he is right there. This is his blog. This is his blog, Ehrman. As you see right there, that's his blog right there. This is his blog. This is all Ehrman. Look what he further says about Paul's letter, about this first letter of Paul, or 190. Our first copy is named P46 and is probably from around 200 CE or so, just like I showed you in the last video that I refuted you. So you're done, sir. Don't you dare make another response to me. If you make another stupid response to me, I'm going to block you. That's right. I'm not going to keep going back and forth with stupidity and foolishness and ignorance. Okay? You're finished. Okay? They say that he wrote in 50 AD, but do they have proof? No. The earliest proof of Paul's letter is 200 CE. Your buddy Bart Ehrman agrees. Your buddy Bart Ehrman agrees that the earliest copy that you have of Paul's letter is of the earliest evidence of Paul's letter is this P46, which is First Thessalonian, and it is dated, as he said, 200 CE or so. Okay, and he admits it does not have all of 1 Thessalonians, but is fragmentary. Okay, then look what he goes on further. Our first complete copy of First Thessalonians is Codex oh man, I can't even pronounce the word. Damn. Vaticanus, dating from perhaps 370 CE, over 300 years after the original. Okay, over 300 years after the original. Okay, so you don't have anything from the actual writer. Okay, you don't have anything dating to 50 AD, sir. One more time. He told you in the video that's what they say, that's what they teach. But the manuscript evidence says no. The manuscript evidence says 200, and the complete version of First Thessalonians is 370 CE, over 300 years after the originals. Okay, so there you have it. There you have it. What he says here. For most of the New Testament, we do have papyri, an old writing material used for our oldest manuscripts before scribes started using parchment. And where are they from? From the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th centuries. From the 2nd, 3rd, notice nothing from the 1st century, sir. So you don't know what you're talking about. You just don't know what you're talking about. So like I said, you're finished, you're done. Don't come back at me with another stupid, ignorant response. From here on out, if you say something that's dumb and doesn't address these points or acknowledge that you've been refuted, I'm just going to block you. I'm not going to keep wasting my time with ignorance and foolishness because you're clearly finished.